bit, and then you can.
Yep.
I know.
All right.
This is the one that's used to being on stage. Come on, get in the camera.
So we're going to talk a little bit about an adventure that we had, a little rock and roll tour with some musicians who were way tamer sex lives than the Golden Girls, evidently. So it's a little disappointing after that. But, so we're going to talk about how.
Our road to the end of the road.
Yes. So one random comment on a baseball field turned into a lot of concerts by this band. I'll explain it. All right. So growing up, we were both Kiss fans. I had that poster on my basement wall. I still have all those trading cards, lunchbox. Jane, you can talk about your
I
brothers.
didn't have any, so there's 7 or 8 years between me and my little brother and the older 4. But they used to hang out on the side of the house with their radio, and that was the first time I heard like Kiss and Led Zeppelin and everything. And I didn't have my own radio, but when I was out there, I tried to memorize the words so I could sing when they sang, and I just thought it was really cool because I was like 7 years old.
That's awesome.
So both grew up in Kiss, but like in the 70s, you're a kid, but then you kind of you grow up a little bit, you grow out of it a little bit, and everything. But then,
Oh, what? Wow.
2012, so setting the stage for this, in 2011, the Clippers won a championship. So the next year, we're our first home game, we're presenting players' championship rings on the field.
Nice. Oh, what field?
Huntington Park.
The old one? Oh, the
No,
new one.
Huntington Park.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Sorry.
one of our pitchers the previous year, I'd become friends with a little bit because he was a big classic rock guy. He wanted always tickets for Promo West, wanted me to go to concerts with him. His name was Josh Judy. Well, he wound up in the Reds organization in 2012.
Uh-oh.
We happened to be playing them
Oh.
that first game, so he's going to get his championship ring on the field too. So, I'm at a table handing the rings to the manager or coach, whoever's going to hand the ring to the player. So Josh gets his ring from our manager at the time, walks over to me, gives me the big bro hug. I'm thinking he's going to be really excited at seeing this ring. And he goes, "Dude, Kiss, Motley Crue, this summer, we're going." I was like, "Oh yeah, we're going." So he's pitching in Louisville, AAA for the Reds. He ends up on an off day going to see Kiss in Louisville, meets a guy that handles all their meet and greet stuff. The guy says, "I'll take care of you anytime, just you got to buy tickets." 2012, we actually go to a concert, and we did the meet and greet, and we got to see them play an acoustic set backstage. I don't have that video that I could cue up, but
It's cool.
it was pretty cool. Then we got the photos with the bands,
Wow.
with the band and everything. So that kind of led to reigniting the fandom because I saw them again and I was like, damn, that was awesome. And there we go. So fast forward to 2018, and this is what they kind of put out there. All that we have built and all that we have conquered over the past 4 decades could never have happened without the millions of people worldwide who filled clubs, arenas, and stadiums. That was back in 2012 as part of that tour. And it was true. It's kind of like Big Show, Pyro, all the blood, the Gene Simmons, all the stuff from a kid, but it was like, man, no one's doing that anymore. Like, no one's putting on those big productions with all that. So it was kind of cool. So in 2018, Kiss announces their final tour ever, which they had done probably a good half dozen times in their past before that. This time they said it was real. This time they said they were getting too old to wear all that gear and makeup, and and it was time. So they announced the End of the Road tour. And they made the announcement on America's Got Talent when they made the official announcement. All right. So Josh, on the right, we he had texted me when they announced their final tour and said, "Dude, we're going." He's now pitching in the Mexican leagues at the time, and he goes, "We got to go." I was like, "Yeah, we got to go." So they're coming to Columbus. The Mexican League season doesn't starts a little later than U.S. baseball, so it was in March. He could go. We got tickets. I had a woman I worked with who used to be a concert promoter, so she got us backstage meet and greet,
Wow.
photo pass. We took this picture backstage with this giant thing that was hanging up backstage right over by where
Oh,
that
cool.
backdrop was.
That's cool.
I should have included this picture, but that big sign is now in my basement.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh, that's so cool.
So,
got the picture he has down there.
Wow.
pays to have connections. The marketing guy at the arena, I ran into him that night and I said, "Hey, you don't have any posters or anything hanging on the walls that you can save one, do you?" He got a hold of me a week later and said, "I got something better." He goes, "How big's your car?"
Oh my god.
It didn't fit.
As big as it used to be.
I had to borrow our team van to get that sucker
Oh my god. That's
get that
awesome.
sucker home. It's like
Oh my-
6 feet tall.
Gosh, that's great.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Oh.
You have that next to your Kiss pinball machine, right, Mark?
I don't have one of those yet.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking at the time, okay, this is Jane and I don't even know each other in 2018. We hadn't met yet, 2019. And so I'm thinking, okay, this might be the last time. But when we got these tickets, Kiss had already said their final show would be in New York. And Josh had texted, he's like, "I really want to go to New York. We got to go to New York. We got to go to that last show." I'm thinking, okay, yeah, sure,
Right.
that'll happen.
Meaning the last show. Yeah.
Meaning the very
Or
last
that they
show.
would actually go.
Yeah.
All right. And the ironic part about the picture with the band is that we were told when we went back stage that you guys are the friends and family group, which means you're the free people.
You're in.
Oh my
You're
God.
in.
And people pay for the meet and greet, so they're like, there's a good chance if that's running over, you're getting cut.
Ooh. Ooh.
So I'm back with some people I know, radio people and stuff like that. And the lady who set us up with this that I worked with calls and says, "Where are you?" I was like, "I don't know, we're backstage somewhere. Where are you?" She's in the green room with the band.
Whoa.
Oh my
Whoa.
And I'm like, "We can't get to you. We can't leave this area. No one's
Right.
going to let us." And so we kind of peek around the corner, and all of a sudden, there she is leading the band, walking out of their dressing, out of the green room. She waves us in. We were the only person of the free group that actually got a photo with the band.
Wow. That's
So
And they
kind
were
of
not
worked
friends
out.
or family.
Kind of worked out.
Wow.
So that's one show.
Wow.
I'm thinking, this might be the last time, but it was not. So in August of 2019,
Johnny.
there's Johnny.
With one of his haircuts.
With
One
hair.
of his So that one was some people, I'm friends with the afternoon DJ on QFM, Archie, and they were doing a bus trip up to Cincinnati.
Nice.
So, like, you want
Oh
some,
my God.
want a pair of tickets?
Oh my god.
It's like, yeah, sure, we'll take a bus trip and a pair of tickets. So we did, and we, which was great. We had food, we could drink on the bus, drank a lot on the bus, and everything. But we had the meet and greet. Same lady I work with got us backstage again, so we got that picture.
What are you pointing at there, Mark?
I know. I thought it too.
What a dork you are.
That's
No.
what you're pointing at? Okay.
I don't think that's his arm. No. That's somebody else's arm.
All right.
It is.
So now this is probably it, right? This is probably the last time that we're gonna see him. Last time in Ohio, that
Did they
Who are
talk-
those characters?
did they-
Wait,
did they
back up.
actually
Who are those
talk-
characters in the mouse mask? Oh, I see. That's
Hey, did they
the
actually
Kiss
talk to
members.
you? I mean, did they have a conversation with you?
Not much. I mean, just they really didn't say anything. Other than Gene was just like pointing, like, "Hurry up, take your picture, and get the hell out."
Yeah, there was a line to go through that.
Yeah.
We went through
There was a
it.
massive
But
line.
didn't one
Yeah.
of your doctors have a connection with
Yeah.
that guy too?
Yeah.
not
Which
Gene
one?
Simmons.
Not Gene.
Yeah.
It was a massive
Yeah.
line. So then COVID hits.
And
So with nothing to do,
That's
That's-
they did a live stream on New Year's Eve that year. So I
wow.
stayed home and rented it for $50 and saw him again. that's probably the last time I'm ever going to see these guys play live.
Right.
I canceled the tour, but no.
Oh,
So now we're in the May of 2022. We are now
We've dated
Dating
like 6 months.
for 6 months. So they're going to Dayton. So I enlist my friend Rich to go with me. He becomes the central character in all this. And we go see him in Dayton. The night before, Clippers are playing, and I run into Jimmy Jam from WNCI. That's
Yeah.
him on the
Yeah.
over on the
Yeah.
left there. And I told him, I was like, we have a noon game tomorrow. I said, and they better play fast because I'm going to see Kiss. He's like, what? Where?
Where?
He's like, no way. How didn't I know about that? So evidently, he is a big Kiss fan.
Yeah.
And so he bought tickets. He said, where are you sitting? I sent him my seat location. He bought 2 rows behind me off StubHub.
Wow.
So I ran into Jimmy there. And that was one of the first live music concerts I went to post-COVID. I mean, 2021, bands started going out a little bit. And then 2022 was when they were going hog wild again. And this particular show had been canceled 3 times before that because of COVID, or someone in the band getting COVID. And so it finally happened. Now Jane doesn't know what to get me for my birthday, so she gets tickets to the Louder Than Life Festival, headlined by
Oh,
You guessed it.
wow.
Kiss.
Nice.
But I have to rewind and say, so I grew up in Huber Heights outside of Dayton, and the Nutter Center sucks for getting in. There's one way in
The Nutter Center
and one
has
way
it.
out. And he's texting me, I'm here, I found Jimmy, and me and Rich are here. He goes, but I've been standing in line for 2 beers, and I can't go back for beers. And so I got all these texts. I was like, oh my God, he's waited so long to see him, and he's having this horrible thing, this
Right.
horrible experience. So I was
Right.
like, I went online to find something that I could afford that Kiss was playing in the future. And I thought, okay, because we hadn't gone away together or whatever. So that was, so I bought it in May on that night for,
Aw.
and then I had to, I don't know how I got your numbers, but I told you that I had something
Yeah.
for him as a surprise
She
because
gave
we
me
had
the
a cookout.
certificate here at a cookout.
So where was that at?
Louisville.
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 Louisville. It was a music festival, so we saw Alice Cooper. First
Oh
time I'd ever
my
seen.
God.
First time I'd never
He was
seen
on
Alice
right
Cooper
behind-
before.
Wow.
Rob Zombie, some other. It was a nice
Wow.
show
And
for
that,
sure.
that picture of Mark is like we walked all the way around because there was merch, and of course Kiss isn't gonna mix their merch with other merch.
Right.
And he finally found it, and it was like, there is the mothership. I must walk to it. So
So that's probably the last time ever again.
It probably
Probably Kiss
is.
concert.
probably the last
Never
time.
underestimate Kiss wanting to make more money too.
Until
Oh my God.
July of 2023, the Sonic Temple Festival. So here's another one that I guess my reputation pays off. We another Clippers game. We get rained out, and I just happen to be in the concourse, and people are leaving, and a group of people come down. And one guy's like, "Hey, Mark." I was like, and it was one of our old scoreboard interns. And I started talking to him, and he goes, "Hey, you still in the Kiss?" I was like, "How do you remember that?" But I was like, "Yeah, sure." He goes, "Well, we got like all these passes for Sonic Temple. You want some?" Sure, we'll go. So this is kind of the gang that the cast of characters that winds up central to the rest of the story. So we get these free passes to Sonic Temple, another music festival, and it was pretty wild. Josh enters the picture again, and my buddy Rich and Josh back at our ballpark. We all met there to drive over together. When we got back after the show, he runs into our manager, and it turns out they had pitched together in like the Dominican,
Oh.
or
my
played together in
gosh.
the Dominican, and our trainer who remembered him and everything like that. So a small world. So that's it, right? That's the last time, definitely in Ohio.
That's it. Yay.
Last time we're ever going to see this band in Ohio.
And some lady who was taking our pictures told me to stick
Yeah.
out my tongue like that. So
And then I believe it was 3 days later they announced they're playing Cincinnati.
Wow.
And you still got your tickets in.
It became a thing.
It's just a habit. It's
So I
just a
run
habit.
into, again, my
It just became a thing.
reputation preceding me. I run into a marketing guy with the dispatch, and he's like, "Hey, did you go see Kiss at Sonic Temple?" I was like, "Yeah, we did." And he goes, and I said, "But then I thought that was it for Ohio. Now they announced they're playing Cincinnati all of a sudden." He's like, "What building?" And I told him. He goes, "You know, we do a lot of work with them. I could probably score you tickets."
Oh my God, Mark.
There we are in Cincinnati.
Wow.
So now the whole time, the whole New York thing was in the back of our heads at that point. My friend Josh was like, we gotta figure out a way. So when those went on sale, we did the whole, get on Ticketmaster, wait in the
Yeah.
virtual line. I got him on speaker. I'm kicking people out of my office who are trying to do work while I'm trying to not do work.
Right.
And so we're on speakerphone. We're getting nowhere trying to get tickets for New York. Every time open tickets showed up, they were gone. We're talking. I said,
How
and
many people
then
still follow Kiss? I'm sorry.
it was crazy.
It's, yeah, they
And,
sell
It's
out.
very popular.
Sell out.
And so they were also announced Indianapolis was going to be their 5th to last show. So I said, Josh, screw it. I'm getting out of the New York thing. Let's just go to Indianapolis. It's one of the final shows. We can get tickets for that. So there we are in Indianapolis.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So this is a week before New York, but we had tickets for New York.
Nice.
So
How'd you get them?
we kept following StubHub and just they were going for over $1,000 a piece. It was insane.
my
And
God.
for the final show, a friend of mine who books concerts, I ran into him and it was like, you don't have any connections for tickets in Madison Square Garden, do you? And he's like,
Oh yeah.
I might. So he did connect me with someone, and we wound up getting tickets. But we were kind of locked in because Jane kind of had booked a hotel.
Somebody was going to go to New York that weekend because on my booking.com thing, sometimes you can book it and cancel within 48 or 72 hours. What I realized on my next credit card statement was it charged me and I didn't
It was
do
already
that.
done.
So I said, I don't care if you're going to the concert or not. Somebody is going to that hotel for that weekend. So,
She had booked it
like,
8 months before
Yeah.
that or
Oh
something like
my
that. I
God.
thought she could cancel.
That
Turns
is
out
serendipity.
she couldn't.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
there's Indianapolis, and now we go to New York.
Wow.
I was part of their press release.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was a weekend, Friday, December 1st, Saturday, December 2nd, Madison Square Garden. We got into town on the 1st,
Mhm.
morning of the 1st. Short trip. We were getting in on the 1st, we were leaving on the 3rd. We had tickets for December 2nd, the final show. And New York's a little pricey. But they had a big takeover in New York City. So they had buses wrapped, taxi cabs. They had a pop-up store. There was a Prince Street Pizza that had Kiss pizza boxes,
Wow. Oh,
tattoos,
my
face
God.
painting. The whole city was kind of all
Kiss
about Kiss.
for you.
So
Wow.
Awesome.
there's some New York Posts we got with the special Kiss covers. They were handing out Kiss cookies.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
And we just went out and started walking around, and
That's
they were looking on their
awesome.
phone like, hey, there should be something, because it was like random wherever it would be, and we turned
Yep.
the corner, and there they are in
Wow.
the corner. So,
So-
of course, the boys had to go get.
Yep, we had to go check it
and
all
cookies.
out.
Do you know what that is?
It was a little out of order, but so this is us roaming around New York City, and there's an album cover for a really awful album called Music from the Elder that is that hand on that knocker. Well, we actually found the church that
Oh, wow.
was, so we got tried to replicate the photo.
They don't have the
Those-
knocker on it. They
Yeah.
have
Pretty
glass.
good. Pretty good.
Those are gone,
Yeah,
so
that's neat.
But
There's
you can
the
see
game.
they just put a glass in that space where the
Yeah,
knocker
that's
was.
really cool.
Yeah.
Little stained glass.
so December 1st,
There's
Jane
that
and
knocker.
Josh's wife wasn't going to go to the concert, had no interest whatsoever in going to a Kiss concert. And so Jane and Vivian went to see the Rockettes. Well, there's 3 guys, me, Josh, and Rich. We need something to do. Josh is like, we can't afford tickets like at these prices. He goes, we can't go.
Right.
He goes, I was like, all right, what's your bottom line? And he goes, if they go under 200, I'm in. So all day we're watching SeatGeek and StubHub. They drop under 200.
So you still.
Needless to say,
Oh my God.
we went to
They
December 1st shows. The
You
December
can see
1st
how
show, too.
high up, that's actually the ceiling blocking part. 'cause
Yes, we
they're
were in the
loud.
nosebleeds,
Wow.
But they were
looking
still
through a
there.
beam
But
and
you were still
everything.
there.
They were still
But we were there,
Yeah.
little
that's
preview,
awesome.
thinking, all right, buy a shirt for this final weekend and everything like that, and got home and or back to the hotel and looked, and it had just December 1st dates on it. So now I got to buy another one the next day.
Oh my God.
Kiss knows how to.
So the final show, their final show, Madison Square Garden, which I had never been to in my life, so it was kind of a bucket list just to go
Right.
to the garden in general.
Yeah.
So we get there early. Now we have seats on the floor, 23 rows from.
Oh my God.
Wow.
We got them at cost.
Wow.
Cost was a car payment.
Wow.
Plus. But we did. So we had great seats. So they were actually live streaming this on pay-per-view. And they did an hour-long pre-show thing where they were doing a lot of interviews and stuff like that. So we're on the floor. We're over there. This picture on the right is the guy that with the mic, the host, whatever. He's like, hey, we're gonna go live in a little bit. He goes, we need some background. Go crazy in the background. So that's Rich and I standing with our faces behind there. You can
Going
see it if
crazy.
you actually watch the pre-show there, and there we go.
Wow.
These are just pictures I took.
That's
my
really
Some
phone.
random
cool.
pictures we took.
Holy cow.
That's so awesome.
The phone takes great.
Dang it, Mark.
Pictures.
I think you beat my Volkswagen.
No, I don't think so.
Wait, oh, no.
There's nothing educational about this. So, huh?
Good.
Oh, yes, there
But
is.
so at the end, the band kind of goes up on these risers, tons of smoke,
Which
and
they
everything
never
like
do
that.
in any other show.
Yeah.
So they're like, why are the 3 of them?
They kind of disappear up top in this big thing of smoke, and then they kick on this graphic that says a new era
Oh my
begins.
God.
And they play God Gave Rock and Roll You with the QR code, and then they basically announced that they're going to be avatars.
They had a whole video of them being
Holy.
avatars. They can fly, they can play
Yes.
drums in the air.
So they will now be avatars for the rest of time.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Like everybody's like,
Nobody.
what's
It was a
happening
secret.
here? Like it has this big thing with the QR code. We think we're all getting some kind of prize or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And all it was a thing to go to
We're
their
gonna live
website
on
to read more
forever
about this thing.
digitally. Oh my gosh. Way to go.
That is
That was
good.
it.
That's awesome. Good, you guys.
So we made
Clapping for all the money we spent.
No,
you for
really.
spending all your
Gene
money.
Simmons appreciates you.
He
I'm sure he
loves
does.
he needs the money.
You know.
Yeah, I know.
He does have the longest.